There are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. I'm Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. Join me as we talk digital marketing, social media, technology, and more, and share interviews with industry professionals to help you unlock the secrets and take control of your music career. Because we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, and I'm so excited that you're here joining me with this new podcast to help encourage and inspire and educate and all those good things for independent artists to help you grow your music business. If you like this podcast, I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and leave a review and rate it, give me a 5-star rating, all that good stuff. I'm hoping to bring you all some amazing episodes as we move forward with this podcast. But without further ado, let's jump into today's episode, in which I'll be talking about why am I doing this podcast? Why am I even doing this Indie Musician Secrets podcast? As some of you may know and may be familiar, back in 2019, I started Business Minded Musicians, and I really just started by doing Facebook Lives. I would just kind of go on and do Facebook Lives, teaching things, sharing different, techniques and strategies and tips, stuff like that. And there was really kind of nobody around in the beginning. I just had this desire just to share a lot of stuff that I was learning, or that I thought were unique, that could help other artists as well. But one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is just kind of to start off and start off with some of the hard news first. Is this thing that we do, this music thing, this is a business. It is a business. We as artists can't just make music. We can't avoid the things that seem like corporate or like the man, right? Because the man ain't broke, but you might be. And that's actually why I named the company Business Minded Musicians, and not musicians with a business mind. Because I remember years ago, my brother, rest in peace, he was an amazing artist and producer, and he was telling me about a book. This was so long ago, and I think the book was called The Music Business. And one of the like first lines or something there was like, the idea that this music business is like 10% music and 90% business. And that's what it is. And I know that for a lot of artists, we want to avoid things, like I said, that seem corporate-y or like suit and tie, that kind of thing, because we're conditioned to be anti the man and stuff like that. But we have to understand that if we want to do this, whether that's full-time, part-time, or whatever have you, to make any kind of income or make a living, we have to treat it like a business. And so that's what I want to do, and I'll talk a little bit about that kind of towards the end here as well. But the other reason is that, one of the other reasons that I'm doing this podcast is because I'm in the trenches too. That's part of my story. I know that a lot of people come in with different backgrounds and experiences. I'm not a person who was, in the industry or was an executive or an A&R. I'm actually an artist. I'm an independent artist. I always have been, since I've started in this. I've didn't have any other roles. I didn't start out in the industry in some other way than become an artist. I'm an artist first, and yet I'm also an entrepreneur. And I believe that we as musicians, we are entrepreneurs. In any type of thing that you're doing creatively or whatever. If you're an author, you're an authorpreneur. If you are a baker, you're a bakerpreneur. If you're a musician or music artist, you're a musicpreneur. And that's how we have to see this. And we utilize these resources and these tools and all these valuable things to help us push our music business forward. And for me personally, I'm a coach by nature. I love helping people connect to their passion, and teaching different methods and sharing strategies and all that stuff. That's why specifically, if you continue to follow this podcast, or if you're watching in my videos on YouTube, kind of some of my core tenets are marketing, specifically digital marketing. That's one of my areas of expertise. Technology and social media, because I do believe that we can use these things and learn how to make them work for us so that we can push our music business forward. So I'm excited to continue to share some of those things as we also, move forward with this podcast as well, and making more videos that you all will be able to be served by. And part of even if you think about the kind of the intro, right, for the Indie Musician Secrets podcast, it's like, there are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned that yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. So for me, I really gravitate towards the idea of you don't know what you don't know. Um, and I know that for myself now, right now it's February 2022 when I'm making this podcast, and I'm in the process of developing and moving into making my second album. And I know that from the first album that I made, which was such an awesome opportunity, and I had no previous, mixtapes or anything like that before. That was literally like my first project. But I've learned a lot since then. I've learned a lot about just everything from digital marketing to social media, tech, and also efficiency and process and stuff like that as well. And I didn't know those things before, but I don't hold that against myself because I didn't know what I didn't know. But now I know a lot of other things, and I've been through more, I've had more experiences as a musician, but also as an entrepreneur. And as I've studied different industries from authoring to coaching, consulting, e-commerce, marketing, all that stuff. And I try to find these ways to take an entrepreneurial approach and apply those to what I'm doing. And so that's kind of what I want to do with this podcast as well. Is I understand that there are a lot of you out there that you just don't know what you don't know. You may not even know that this system or this resource or this piece of technology or this process even exists. Or even that there are people out there that you've never been exposed to, that I would love to bring some of those ideas and some of those different experiences into this podcast for all of us to learn and grow from. And because there are tons of people in the industry, right, from agents to PR personnel, managers, para organizations, right, like Bands in Town, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, or Bandzoogle, which is a website platform, but it's a website platform made for musicians by musicians, right? And then there's like Indie on the Move, and they have tons of great services as well. All the digital distributors like CD Baby and TuneCore and DistroKid. I know that for myself, I'm on the disc makers email list as well, so I get those emails from Tony Van Veen. And I'm really excited for this podcast to be a hybrid podcast where I am kind of sharing some of those things that I've learned, both as a musician, but also kind of maybe some of those mindset things of an entrepreneur, and approaches, and like I said, systems and resources, technology pieces. But also, bringing people on this podcast. I'm excited for it to be a hybrid where the other part of that is interviews, where I'm able to kind of dive in with other people and talk about their experiences, because not only are you going to be able to benefit from what they can bring in terms of what I'm hoping to do is quote unquote unlock the secrets, right? So where we're exposing those things that that you may not be familiar with yet. But also, I think I may have mentioned before, just that idea that you may discover something by listening to one of these interviews. You're like, oh, I never even thought about that, or I never thought that I could do that too. Even maybe while I'm pursuing music, maybe I can also be a music coordinator or a music supervisor, or work in this type of company, or whatever, while I'm doing this. Or maybe it's a whole career shift or a career change. So I want to bring those thoughts and those backgrounds and all that diversity of thought into this podcast as well, because honestly, I'm sure again, if you've been involved or invested in anything that I've done, whether it's the podcast, videos, different things. If you're new, you're gonna certainly hear me say this a lot, and you heard it in the intro. I say we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets podcast. And I am a firm believer in that idea, in that idea of the new music business. And I'm probably going to have another episode where I go maybe more into, kind of what that means to me and what I think that really means. But just basically that idea that, there are kind of two different things that exist here, right? There's kind of the music industry, the recording industry, right? And then there's the new music business. And I feel like that's where a lot of us are today, and that's where things are really kind of moving today, right? We don't have to be on a label to operate like one. If you think about it, the label brings in songwriters. Well, you're your songwriter, or you have your songwriting cohort or your songwriting partners. You can go out and find your own producers. That's what a label would do. But you can go on a site like Sound Better or any of these community sites or whatever, and or you can go to a conference now and meet people, and you can find other producers and work with. Labels a lot of times would handle at least negotiating or helping with the distribution, right? Well, now we have CD Baby and TuneCore and DistroKid. The record labels would pay for your music video. Well, now we can do those things ourselves. We've all got friends with a DSLR camera, or maybe we're nearby a university that has a film or video production program, and we can negotiate those things ourselves. You can go on websites now and find people who can build, everything from lyric videos to whatever you need. And also merch, right? There's so many things we can do now with Shopify and all these other things that we can really take a 360-degree approach, to use that term, that 360 term, right? We can take a 360-degree approach to our music business like a record label would do. Only thing that's different is we don't have to give them a cut of everything that comes in, right? I mean, there are sites out there and companies out there like Indie on the Move, that help with, they have a program called DIT. It's Do It Together, where they help you actually build and coordinate a tour schedule and your stops along the way and all that stuff. So there's so much that we can do to, like I said, to kind of operate like a record label, to do the things that a record label does. But we don't have to be, quote unquote, the man. We don't have to be the suit or whatever. And we can control our careers. We can control our music. We can control who we work with. We can decide what songs we want to put out and when. We don't have to worry about, one of our songs being on the back burner or getting pushed because some other artist is on the label and they're popping more right now and that type of stuff. We have access to all these things, and that's what I want to help artists, to really unpack and really discover and really kind of fall in love with this idea of the new music business, because there's so much out there going on from really talented, brilliant people who have online courses, and people who are have all these skills and talents that can we can all kind of help each other. And maybe you're a songwriter, maybe you write top line credits, or maybe you're you're a singer and you can sign up for sites like Sound Better, where you can offer your services too, and continue to grow your creativity and have outlets for that. So I wanted to keep this episode short. I'm going to try to keep these kind of under that 15-minute mark, but again, particularly for the ones that aren't interview style. But I just wanted to have an episode where I just kind of share with you why I'm doing this podcast, why I think it's important. Obviously, audio, kind of the way that podcasts are going. I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, a lot of us are able to just listen to a podcast on our way to work or something like that. So I want to be able to jump in that, and to jump in that space, with some music business stuff, and helping you, like I said, helping you discover maybe some of those things that you never knew about, that could help you take control of your music career, and hopefully sooner than later start getting paid to do what you love. So if you like this podcast, if hope this excuse me I hope this episode served you. And if you do like this podcast, you want more of it, I would greatly appreciate if you would leave a review, and leave a nice 5-star rating, share these episodes with other people as well. And yeah, you'll see these also a lot of times on YouTube as well. We'll post those there. So leave me comments. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you'd like to learn about, or who out there that may be a good person to interview. And we'd love to know kind of who you're following, and maybe we can reach out to those people and bring them on the show. So I hope you all are doing well. Thank you again so much for some of your time with this podcast. Keep making music. Keep rocking. God bless, and I will see you when I see you. Peace. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the Indie Musician Secrets podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. Also, share this episode with other indie musicians you think it would be beneficial for. And for more helpful resources to help you grow your music business, visit us at businessmindedmusicians.com. I hope this episode has served you. We'll talk to you on the next episode.